everyone, this is Wannabe Mom here again. And finally, I'm back with a new video. Of course, before that, I just want to say Happy New Year to everyone. I know it's late, but better late than never. It has been a very challenging 2020 for all of us, but we're still thankful that despite of all the odds, we're here, we're healthy, and let's keep on praying that things will be okay sooner. And also, I wanted to recognize and thank my 440 subscribers here in my YouTube channel. Well, thank you for subscribing and showing your interest to know my TTC journey. So for this time, I'm going to share with you the processes we had during our frozen embryo transfer and the prices of each procedure. If this is your first time to watch my video, just to let you know that last year in March 2020, I had my frozen embryo transfer or FET and it turned out positive. But unfortunately, during my 12th week pregnancy checkup, we found out that we lost our baby. I had a missed miscarriage. So it was our last 2 embryos, but unfortunately, it didn't result to positive outcome. Yet, we're not losing hope. It wasn't our right time yet. Anyway, so much for that. Let me start with the step-by-step process I had during my FET last year. So this is to inform everyone and also to share my experiences during the FET, which was much easier, cheaper, and at the same time faster compared to our fresh embryo transfer. So prior to my FET, I prepared my body. I think I started taking supplements in preparation for my FET, which was in November 2019. It was the advice of my OB-GYN, who also happens to be my IVF specialist. So she advised me to take vitamins such as vitamin C, vitamin E for antioxidants. I also tried taking glutathione and vitamin D, which is a very important vitamin for those who are planning to get pregnant. I also took probiotics, and then I also continued taking my folic acid. So for those women who are also taking supplements on their own, better inform your OB-GYN or specialist so that they would know if these supplements are compatible with you, especially if you have underlying or existing health conditions. So for how many months I continued taking the supplements until I had my FET in March 2020. So my OB advised me during the first day of my menstruation, which is the cycle day 1, I had to start taking aspirin, which serves as blood thinner, and then as well as the estradiol valerate, or known in a brand name of Progenova, which would help to thicken my uterine lining. And on cycle day 2, I had my first ultrasound to measure the thickness of my uterine lining. The ideal thickness of the uterine lining should be at least 10 millimeters or 1.0 centimeters. It is an ideal thickness which is good for implantation. I had to go back for another ultrasound, which was on the cycle day 9 or 10, I think. So they have to check if there were any improvements on the thickness. My OB also advised me to have FSH and LH test. This is to check if my cycle is in time for the embryo transfer. So correct timing is very important in IVF. A day before my embryo transfer, the clinic thawed my frozen embryos because they have to observe it for 24 hours. They have to observe it because they have to check if the embryos are still alive, if the number of cells are increasing, and if it is, then that's the time that the clinic or the fertility specialist would provide or give you a go signal for your procedure. And I also took a medication during my cycle day 12 or the day before the embryo transfer, which was Andros or sildenafil. It cost around 450 pesos, I think. It is actually a medication for erectile dysfunction, which is taken orally. But for women who are having IVF, it is inserted through the vagina like the progesterone, which helps to thicken the uterine lining also of the woman. This is also in preparation for the embryo transfer. So on cycle day 13, I had my frozen embryo transfer. I went to the clinic very early in the morning. No fasting was needed, so I ate my very healthy breakfast. And then I also made sure that I don't put any strong scents or perfume in my body and my clothing. So upon arrival at the clinic, I took another medication which was infused to me through IV. It's Aposiban. It's a medication which would help to relax your uterus, because the more relaxed your uterus is, the better for implantation. I took it for few hours prior to the procedure, and I had to drink a lot of water, so I had to make sure that my bladder is full so that the sonologist could able to see a clearer vision of my uterus. So the Aposiban is 20,000. I think the infusion lasted for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. After my medication, we proceeded to my embryo transfer. No anesthesia was needed, and I am awake during the procedure because it wasn't a painful procedure compared to the egg retrieval. If you wanted to know the procedures also of my egg retrieval and the expenses we had during the first procedure, then you can check out my other videos on this channel. The embryologist of the clinic explained to me the characteristics or qualities of my two embryos. During the procedure, a tube, a very, very thin tube, was inserted in my vagina going to my uterus. It was kind of painful. Maybe in a scale of 1 to 10, it was painful in a level of 4 or 5. And just an advice, if you're having your embryo transfer, make sure to relax in order to avoid muscle contractions, because when the muscles contract, the harder it is for the tube to be inserted. So better to just relax and don't exert any effort. And then after the transfer of my two embryos, my OB or my doctor inserted the progesterone, and then I paid for the laboratory fee of 36,100 pesos. I won't be mentioning the professional fees of my doctor and at the same time of the sonologist, because that would be a case-to-case basis. So that would be depend on the case of the patient. The frozen embryo transfer is much easier, faster, and cheaper compared to the fresh embryo transfer. For the prices of our procedures, I'm not sure if they're still the same because we had that procedure last year. So just to make sure, better to ask the clinic directly for the updated prices they have. For the update of our TTC journey, maybe our next plan for the second IVF procedure would be next year. So all I can do for now is to prepare my body physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and of course financially. And so that's it. I hope I've shared something with you. If you have further questions, just post it on the comment section below. And if you are new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. See you on my next video. Thank you. Bye.